Today, we're going to be talking about, is network marketing a scam? Is it a pyramid scheme? What are your thoughts? What are the biggest misconceptions about network marketing? And is it really something that you can make money in 2026? So if you're new around here and you're catching us for the first time, welcome to Abundance Living Co. I'm Janine, and my co-partner Natalie is out sick today, so send some prayers her way. We are faith-driven moms that are passionate about helping families to build freedom through faith, family, and online income. On this channel, we talk a lot about entrepreneurship, motherhood, passive income, personal growth, and just building a life of more time freedom and flexibility. So if you're into just raw conversations about building income online while still prioritizing your family, your faith, your values, then make sure you hit subscribe, join our community. You'll see the link below for that. And let's dive in. So honestly, before I really understood this industry, I had a lot of assumptions and I had some experiences too. My first experience, I was in Party Light. So it was a candle business, and I'll never forget doing parties for the first time. I was super shy, very introverted, and I could not believe after my first one, I was like, I am never doing that again. And guess what happened? Someone booked a party. So I had to do it one more time. And I remember I was like 7 months pregnant. I was carrying this big box of candles up 3 flights of stairs. I was like, this is bonkers. But then I made like $200. And even though I was literally turning red, I hated everything about it. They probably were, it was probably like pity this poor girl, buy a candle from her. But I was young in my early 20s. And then my next experience was similar. I mean, I was in health and wellness. I remember I used to sit down with people and talk to them, and they were like in their 40s. And oh goodness, it was just such an experience. And let me just say, I just didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. I was trying to learn the things, and I did grow a lot personally. And one of the best things that came from that experience was I learned about Jesus. Some of my leaders were believers, and I remember thinking, gosh, they have this joy about them that is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And so it was because of them, they actually baptized me. So I did have some good experience. Also, I had this sticker on the back of my car. It said, Moms helping moms work from home. And it had my phone number. And people would call me. And every time my phone rang, I'd start sweating. And so after that experience, I remember having some anxiety about the phone after that. And I really just don't think I understood sales, Network marketing is sales, recruiting, right? And a lot of people are, that's a bad word in their mind. And it was in mine. I think I just had this misconception that sales meant pushy car salesman, and it grossed me out. And the whole network marketing idea had this feeling of being pushy, sending spammy messages in the inbox. It took me a long time to learn that you actually learn the skills, then you're not convincing anyone or pressuring anyone to do anything. You're just helping people that have a desire to get what they want. It's not about pitching everyone because it's not necessarily for everyone despite of what some people may say. And there are obviously differences between different companies and different leadership styles or trainings, but it's very similar to, think of like a restaurant. If you had a bad experience at a restaurant, would you stop going to restaurants? No, of course not. Well, really what it comes down to is there's a large spectrum of different companies in the industry, just like in every industry. And at one point, I obviously did think that it meant being pushy and constantly selling to friends and family or being glued to my phone or something like that. But over time, I realized that the business model wasn't the issue. It was just how people were building it. And what really changed my perspective too was seeing how much online business and social media had changed the way people build today, and really seeing people that have changed their life because of it. And then the other thing, is it a pyramid scheme? So let's dive into that. I think that's one of the top questions that people get when they are kind of thinking, oh, is it an MLM? Is it one of those pyramids? And honestly, a real pyramid scheme is illegal. So it doesn't involve actual products or services. It's usually like kind of a bait and switch type of thing. So legitimate network marketing companies, they have to have real products or real service. They have to have like real customers and commission that's tied to sales volume, right? So that's how you know it's legit. I mean, most of the ones that you're going to see, especially like in the US has pretty strict restrictions around that. They really have to be structured in a way to keep it legal, right? But honestly, even most traditional businesses are structured similarly because there's always leadership at the top and employees underneath, right? Why we actually believe that this is one of the best models out there is because here you have leverage and you can outlearn anyone that's above you. And so everyday people can start with very little overhead compared to traditional businesses. There's not huge startup costs, there's no employees, no storefront. And as moms, that gives us flexibility. And the other thing is when you look at a traditional business and you've got a CEO at the top and then managers and then supervisors and then employees. I mean, that's kind of a pyramid, but with that, it's a lot harder to move up on the pyramid. Whereas in network marketing, you can pass people up. You could be making more than the person that brought you in, assuming it's a good model. Most of the ones that I've ever been in, you had the ability to do that. And so the biggest thing for me though was always I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be pushy. And that was huge because I just never wanted to feel like I was convincing people to do something. But modern network marketing, I feel like, really looks different now. I mean, a lot of people, it's more like personal branding and content creation, storytelling, building genuine relationships online, and truly serving people and helping them get what they want. And so you don't have to become someone you're not. You don't have to pressure people or be awkward or weird or spammy in the DMs. You can simply just connect with people and share your experience, educate, provide value, and let people decide if it aligns with them. And that felt so much more natural to me. I really wanted something that I could feel authentic doing and feel like I was actually helping someone, not just pushing products at someone or someone has a need and I can help meet that need. And so, anyways, all right. So the next thing that I hear is, do people actually make money? And I think this, like, honesty matters here because no, not everyone succeeds in network marketing. Most of the time, it's because people choose not to invest in themselves and learn the skills. 90% of the people that join, even though they may enroll to like get started in the business, they really end up just being customers and not building anything. And it's important to know that not everyone succeeds in any business model, right? People fail in traditional businesses all the time too. Most businesses don't make it to 5 years, but they invested a lot of money in order to do that. But one of the things that really encouraged me was seeing ordinary people can actually learn the high income skills, build online community and relationships, and create additional streams of income from anywhere. And that was huge. I personally loved the fact that you have the ability to have that leverage. And so the idea that you can build systems and recurring income that wasn't totally dependent on trading time for money forever as you start out, obviously it takes effort. And I think that's the other part that sometimes people aren't really honest about is the fact that it does take effort. It does take time and energy and work. on the front end, to be able to have that freedom and flexibility, it doesn't just happen overnight. Sure, you can build it in small amounts of time as long as you're doing the right things. And that's another thing that I feel like so many people are trying to get their content just right, but they're not really spending time on the income producing activities. So it's really important too to remember that. And I feel like it takes time for people for it to click or for them to really go all in doing it. So the idea that you could build, the systems and recurring income and something that I could be earning even if I personally didn't have a sale or work that day. Like Natalie today got paid even though she's sick and she's in bed. And I love that. Same, like I got paid today, even though I was like at lunch with a friend. That leverage is worth the effort and learning the skills because you really can create something and make a big impact and help a lot of people. So another thing a lot of people say, and I felt this way too, is, but I don't know enough people. Right. And that's one of the biggest things that we hear is, well, I don't have a big following. I'm not an influencer. And honestly, most people start network marketing are not influencers. Most people are just ordinary moms, dads, couples, individuals that are just looking for a way to create an additional stream of income. And you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers to be successful. You just need to be consistent. You need to learn to build relationships and be willing to learn. And social media today gives everyday people an opportunity to grow an audience for free by simply sharing their story and their life. And you don't even have to share all the behind the scenes. You just have to really just connect with people authentically. And that works way better than the perfect curated thing anyways. People want authenticity. They want to connect with people. And that's what we teach you to do. And I mean, when I got started, I didn't have anyone that I knew personally, friends and family, that wanted to do what I was doing. And I think I had like 600 friends on Facebook or something. And I've grown my audience over time. And I remember like just getting serious about it, just learning the skills. And it's something that now we can teach because we've learned how to do that. And so keeping that in mind is important, is just knowing that like you just build it brick by brick. And then the other part too is not all companies are equal. It really matters who you partner with and the structure of the company. You have to really look at leadership, the product, the culture, the systems, the timing, and whether it aligns with your long-term values. Because I'll be honest, I remember getting burnt out on talking about weight loss. I was like, I don't want to talk about weight loss anymore. It's not fun to talk about all the time. And then everyone started talking about it. It just became kind of this thing with GLP-1s and all of that. You really got to pick something that is going to align with what you want to do. And then the other thing too is you're not pushing products, you're really just helping people with solutions. We became really intentional about what we chose because we knew we wanted something sustainable and modern without the hype and pressure, and something that was our business model that we believed in long term and had that longevity and timing, and something that was simple. I really wanted something that was digital and we were already using or wanted to do more of, and that worked for the average person. And so we came across something that was just the most generous comp plan we've seen in our 10 plus years online. And so if you've ever been curious about building income online in a way that feels flexible and relationship driven and authentic and something that you could just really align with your life and do around family and faith and not burnout, then we'd love to share more about why we chose this business model and what we're building. And so you can check out the links below or comment the word info. And if this video helped shift your perspective at all, make sure you subscribe and follow along for more conversations around faith, family, freedom, and online business. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.